then you could have the dining room corner over here, and then you have to make this wall longer to match, right? So every single thing, I'll go even a step further. If we want to talk about scale factor, what we've been doing in this topic, everything you buy starts off as a scale model. Every car, every desk, everything starts off as a scale model. What you buy in stores starts off as some kind of model on paper, made out of wood, made out of clay. That's so they can look at how things are going to work before they go to the expense of building it. So this is an extraordinarily useful concept to find a scale factor and how that will translate into real life, in this case, footage. We're using feet. What kind of measurement system is that? What? Yeah, what do we call our measurement system here in the United States? What are some of the units? Yes?
Not metric, right?
It's not metric. It's the opposite of metric. What are the units that we use only in this country? Miles is one. Feet. Inches. So that is called the customary unit system, and that we are the only country that uses that. What all the rest of the world uses is what? The metric system. Now look at your ruler. Which side of your ruler is the metric side? Gavin. The one that has 30 numbers or the one that has 12 numbers? The metric side is the 30 side. That's the side we're going to use. And when you get in your careers, if you get into any kind of manufacturing or any kind of engineering, any kind of, I don't know if I'd say building, but if you do anything internationally, you're going to use the metric system. Why is that so much better than our feet and inches system? Yes? Smaller, more accurate, very true. Well, you can have small inches, right? You can have 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch, but it can get small, and how is it to calculate? To go from a centimeter to a meter to a kilometer, what are you multiplying? By 10, right? So you go up and down on units by multiplying by 10. So that's why the whole rest of the world says we're going to use the metric system. And if you do anything internationally, like you very well could, almost everything's international now, right? You're going to use the metric system.
And also with using this ruler, the reason I made it centimeters for you guys is because let's say if something is not landing perfectly on a centimeter, do I have to calculate the lines in the middle as a fraction? Since everything is a unit of 10, I can count those as decimals. So if it's halfway, I can say 5.5. If it's one past halfway, I can say 5.6. Whereas inches, you can't do that. Okay?
So we're going to look at this. We're going to look at this model and use this as a ratio of how many centimeters are on that make up this dining room on the paper, and then use that as a proportion to make it in real life, in the feet. So that's why this is such an important, useful concept, because this is how your dining rooms got made. So we're using 1 centimeter to 3 feet. For every 1 centimeter is 3 feet in your actual house. Now, to use this ruler, we're gonna make
Make
Punishment.
it is not moving.
So you're gonna line up your ruler. Let's all measure. The length is always the longest side. You're gonna find the length of the dining room. You're gonna start with the first little black mark next to the start of your ruler. You don't want to use the edge of the ruler because that's a little longer. You're not using the clear plastic edge. You're starting right where, well, kind of where 0 is, right next to that little M. You're going to put that on the inside black of the dining room and go to the inside black of the other side, right? And so it's going to be around what? What are you getting? 6?
Centimeters.
Now, what if it was, like Mr. Swanson said, 6.8? You know, 6 or 5 whole centimeters and then 8 little black little ticks forward. How would you want to round that? If you're measuring because you want to find square footage, or let's say it's 5.7 and right in the middle, would you want to round it up or down? Randy? Why up?
More than 5. Like, round up if it's more than 5.
Right. That's our rounding rule, but also if we're finding the square footage of a room, isn't it better to have overestimate to get a little bigger than it is than to be smaller, right? So we're going to look at everyone measure your dining room. So we're going to put this over, I'm going to put my 0 right on the inside. And I get 5.7.
You guys do it too. Put the rulers on there. See what you think. Your guys is, I think, might be, what did you get? 5.7.
I get 5.7 centimeters.
Put your ruler on.
This is important. You all need to,
Dining room.
when you graduate in what?
And he says inside wall. Inside.
You need to know how to use a ruler, a
It's
tape
upside
measure.
down, so that makes it hard to read.
You need to be able to use
See
measurements.
that? 5.7. If we're going inside
Else
wall,
there'll be a
inside
little
wall.
asterisk on your diploma.
So
You cannot measure.
right here to the beginning of the block.
So we have 5.7 centimeters is, we're calling this the length because it's our longest side. Now turn your ruler. This is our length. And now turn your ruler and find your width. That's going to be across.
On this side of the wall. Right there. That make sense?
So I got 4. Did we all get 4? So that's 4 centimeters.
Ooh, I got 4.2.
Wow.
Yeah, whoa. What if you said 4.2 instead of 4? It's okay. We'll be flexible on this a little bit.
Now we're going to set up, this is our ratio of centimeters to feet, right? Do we remember how to set up a proportion when we're given one ratio? A proportion is what? 2 ratios that have a relationship to each other. So over here, what goes where? Yes. No, because we have to we have to take our length, convert this to feet, take our width and convert this to feet. So we're actually going to have two proportions before we know the length and width in feet.
And remember we said yesterday when we were converting these, you cannot add when you are changing your numbers on a scale model. Remember that's what we tried to do yesterday in that activity. They tried adding. It doesn't work. What do we have to do?
So what goes where here? Marcy? We can start with the 4. Yes, the 4 could go on top, right? Because it's centimeters. It has to line up with centimeters, right? So remember way back at the start of the year when we did these proportions, we said, how do you get from here to here? Multiply by who? So then I multiply by 4 down here, and I get what? 12. 12 who's? 12 feet. So now over here, I'm going to do the same thing. 1 centimeter equals 3 feet. And I'm going to put 5.7 over. And now I multiplied. So what's 3 times 5.7? 17.1? Yeah. 17.1. Now, that tells me the length of my dining room and the width of my dining room, right? The actual length. So when I go to build this, I know my wall, one wall has to be 17.1 feet long and then 12 feet wide, right? This could turn into what you're actually building. And if you do that right, then this dining room is going to match what you're building here. So that's why all this is so important.
And that's just the foyer too, you did that one? Or the study?
We did the dining. Now, let's then talk about how else this is important. How could, knowing the length and the width, what could you do with that? Yep. Find what can fit. What is the area of, how do you find, what do you do with length and width? You can find the what? Even? Find the area. So, given our length and width, if we have 17.1 and 12, what is the area of this room, everybody? 29.1. 29.1. Now, how could that be useful in real life? Let's say you're putting a new floor down. I put carpet down in my house over.
Can I stop you there?
What? That's not right. We have to multiply. I think you added, right? We have to multiply. We have to multiply length times width. What do we get? Randy? 205.2. So 205 square feet. When you put flooring down, you have to know that square footage. So you don't buy too little. If you only buy, especially carpet, because it has to come in all one big piece. So if you just bought 200 square feet of carpet, you could cover your dining room, but it comes in this rectangular piece. Look what happens. Your dining room has something uncovered, right? That would be terrible. You get fired as that contractor, right? So that's why calculating square feet, finding the area, can be useful to you. So you guys are now going to measure, let's do the porch. You're going to measure the porch with your centimeter side, find the length and the width, and then convert it into feet and show us what you get.